Welcome to John Passadino,
a podcast of life lessons and observations.
And now here is your host,
John Passadino.
Hello and welcome to my podcast. That's right, my podcast. And I want to also point out, in case you're not aware, I am on Substack and Medium @ John P. Writes. And I have two newsletters, Lens of Laughter, Lens of Hopefulness, on Substack. And on Medium, I'm writing under my name, John Passadino. Lots of self-awareness and comedy, mostly. And today I'm going to talk about mindfulness. You, John? Mindfulness? People who know me from over the years would say, you mindful? My wife would say, you mindful? The way you react, the way you fly off the handle, the way you threw temper tantrums throughout our life, my 41 years with you, and now suddenly you're the mindful guy? Yes, I am. I worked very, very hard at it. Let's define. Well, let me digress a second. Mindfulness. What the heck is it? Well, mindfulness is rooted in Eastern philosophy, tracing back to the Buddha. To put it simply, mindfulness is about being present, not dwelling on the past or the future, something I've spent lots of time doing during my life. I've spent more time in the past and future than I have in the present, I must tell you. And I am just now in my later years learning to stay present. Why? One, self-survival. The stress is a killer. The anxiety, the guilt, the stress, it's a colossal waste of time. Worry, depression, all of those are elements of suffering. See, because the Buddha, well, this quote was attributed to the Buddha. Pain is inevitable, and I will paraphrase, in life. We know that. We're going to lose people. We're going to get fired. We're going to get broken up with. We're going to get divorced. We're going to get ill. We're going to be inconvenienced. We're going to not get a parking space. Someone's going to brush up against us. Someone's shopping cart's going to bump ours in the grocery store. So pain is inevitable because it does. We do get miffed. We do get annoyed. But suffering is optional. What is suffering? Suffering is adding on. It's saying, I can't believe that person didn't say hello to me. How dare they disrespect me and not say hello to me? They passed me right by without saying hello. And next time I see that person, I'm going to say something. And you play out the fantasy of encountering that person. I'm going to say, I saw you in the aisle the other day. Is everything okay? Oh no, I won't say that. Let me think of this. I'm going to pass them by and not say hello. I'm going to pass them right by and look the other way. Show them the same disrespect they showed me. So see this? I'm in the future now. I'm fantasizing about what I'm going to do in the future. So what's happening in the present? Nothing. I'm getting nothing accomplished, and I'm sitting there stressed out, planning an encounter that 99% of the time won't even happen. Or let's go backwards to the past. I should have, when I had my chance, said something to the mailman. He didn't take one of the letters from my mailbox. And, I should have, I should have said something. How could I be so stupid? How can I not be assertive? And now, see, I'm dwelling on the past, instead of going forward and saying, hey, I have this letter and I need it to go out, or putting it more prominently placed in the mailbox. So I've developed some well, I'll digress again. I'll back up a second. Well, John, how did you become mindful? Well, I had been trying meditation by the way, I'm not selling anything. I've been trying medication I've definitely done. But I had tried meditation time and again, over and over. Could never sit still. Thoughts racing through my mind. And then literally this past year, I said, you know what? I'm going to try a few minutes at a time with a guided meditation. And a little at a time, I have been able to sit for 20 minutes. That's a lot for me because I have ADHD, self-diagnosed, but I bounce all over the place. I jump from project to project, and my mind is always racing ahead to the future, which is not good, because that causes me anxiety. And in the long run, it doesn't help. So meditation, guided meditation, that's number one. Now, I use the Apple Fitness Plus app. You can find, there's a app called Calm, and there's other apps. Some are free, some you have to pay into. Or you can just go on YouTube. But if you try a few minutes at a time, say, I don't have the time. Find the time. Find the time to eat right, exercise, and meditate. It really helps. Am I a Zen Buddhist monk now, and I could just walk through my house and a store and sit in traffic and ohm and not be affected? No way. I still lose it over stupid things, but I've been able to observe what I do. Meditation has helped me to do that, because you are not going to be able to eliminate the intrusive thoughts. They're going to pop in. That's normal. That's how the mind works. When they pop in, though, you can say, oh, that's a thought that just popped in. Okay. And let it go. And move on to what you were going to do in the present moment, instead of letting the thought take on a life of its own. Now, how have I been doing that? I developed a couple of little catchphrases. If I'm thinking about the past, I'm talking about not just a thought or two or a few thoughts. I'm talking about if I'm sitting there or standing there and I need to do something important, say, or something that's scheduled. Like I want to, for example, do a podcast today. And instead I'm sitting there staring at the microphone going, I should have went to the acting class in high school. I never did that. And if I had done that, I would have been much farther along. Why didn't I do that? I was just too shy. I was too bashful. See, I'm playing out the past, feeling guilty for not being assertive. No, do the podcast. Yes, John, perhaps it would have been good for you to join a theatrical group in high school, but you didn't. But you're here now, so let's do the podcast, see? Or it could be, what am I going to do with this podcast when it's done? How am I going to get it out there? Who's going to listen to it? Why does anybody care? That's the future. That's future thinking. And again, I'm staring at the microphone. Did the podcast get done? No, because I've been going backward and forward. So when those thoughts pop in, because they're going to come in, because that's the way the mind works. And I have decades of habit formed. Can I completely suppress them? No, I'm never going to suppress them all. I am who I am, okay? And you are who you are. And that is not going to change. But we can contain those thoughts, those intrusive thoughts. Now, cognitive therapists like rational motive therapy, and they'll tell you you can think your way out of anything, and Marcus Aurelius, and you can Wayne Dyer, and Eckhart Tolle, and Eckhart Tolle, and 100 other books. They'll tell you you can think your way out of anything. But let's be realistic here, folks. You're not Eckhart Tolle. You're not Thich Nhat Hanh, Zen Buddhist monk. You are not a public figure dedicated to transforming yourself and living that life. You're not in a monastery. You're out on the LIE. You're in a difficult relationship. You have difficulties in the office because of the circumstances. That's going to happen. That's when we're talking about pain is inevitable. But the suffering is optional, because adding on to that by letting your mind take over and dwelling and obsessing, that can be controlled. And so how I do that, aside from the meditation, which has helped me to understand and realize how the mind works and who I am inside, who John Passadino really is. It's not all those thoughts flying around. Those are recordings that are recorded, and they will come up and they will find themselves on the turntable. See, I go way back, or on the reel-to-reel, or on the 8-track, or on the cassette, or on the digital platform. They will find their way to play. What I do, though, to contain those thoughts is I say simple phrases. I say, if something comes up in the past, and I'm thinking about it a bit much, I will say, that was then, this is now. That was then, this is now. And that snaps me back to the present. But what about when you did, that was then, this is now. I could make an action plan later on when I schedule it to address deficiencies. But that was then, this is now. I'm going to get to the present, and I am going to feel my hands on the keyboard. My mouth is going to approach the microphone. That's where my focus is. I will adjust the microphone, and I will feel the microphone with my hands. That focuses me to the present, and I will talk, and I will get centered in the present. Well, what if I start thinking about the future? What am I going to do with the podcast? Who's going to listen to it? Who cares? Well, I say, this is now, that's for later. This is now, that's for later. I'll say to myself, I will address that another time. I will address my marketing and my advertising and my distribution later. Now, this is now, is recording the podcast. So by saying those simple statements, I have alleviated so much consternation, so much churn in my mind. Those simple statements. So remember those and start there. That was then, this is now. This is now, that's for later. And you're welcome. It's not easy because, well, you could read a book called Atomic Habits. It's a great book about how habits are formed. I've read that book. It's a fantastic book, and I will talk about it more another time. I wanted to talk about mindfulness today, and that is what I did, and that is today's message. Take a crack at meditation, a minute at a time, 2 minutes at a time. Close your eyes, sit, stop yourself, put your arms on your armchair and feel the material. Even if you do it for 10 seconds, 15 seconds, you've just centered yourself. You just become present. Do that at a minimum, and then do a little bit more each day. And you'll see results. I personally guarantee it. And no money down. And you don't have to pay anything. Well, this was my initial podcast. I am John Passadino. Find me on Substack at John P. Writes, Medium at John P. Writes. My website is johnpwrites.com, where you can find links to everything and my books. Thanks so much for joining.
Thank you for listening.
You can find John's writing and other work
at johnpwrites.com.